All right, Money Vikings, welcome back. Got a good one for you. I want to do a little bit of a preview of my new book, Wealth the Money Viking Way. Already is a bestseller on Amazon, so it's doing very well. I'm really happy, really very thankful, actually. A lot of gratitude for all the interest in this book. I do think it is a Swiss Army knife for the middle class wealth builder. It's a tool, and I want to give a little preview of that. In chapter 7, you might be wondering to yourself, how much should I be spending in proportion to my salary on things like housing? How much should I actually be spending on a car? How much should I be investing? How much should I be spending in food and groceries? Well, there are rules of thumbs for those things, and that's in chapter 7. So in chapter 7, you can get an example of how much you should be spending on housing if you're making $60,000 a year or $80,000 a year, et cetera, et cetera. How much should you be spending on cars? What percentage of your income should go to automobiles and that how much should be spent every month on food and groceries if you're making $50,000, $70,000, $90,000, etc. So, how much should I be investing, according to personal finance experts, in order to reach my retirement goals? How much should we be spending on, et cetera, et cetera. So that's all in chapter 7 of the book right there, which is very cool. You may also be thinking, and again, you can go back to this book whenever you need to kind of brush up on these rules of thumb and make sure that you are aligned in terms of your middle class wealth building journey. How much will you need to make in your interest return on your investments in order to double your investment? And in what time frame? Well, that's all in a chart here that I made, right? So it's all in a chart that I designed. It'll tell you at a 5% return or a 7% return, how long it will take for your money to double. It gives you a good sense of, if you have, let's say, $100,000 at the moment in your 401k, you're probably wondering, well, how long is it going to take me to get to get from 100,000 to 200,000? Well, this will tell you, given the annual return. So there's that part of it. You might be wondering, what do I need to do in order to reach $1 million in 10 years? How much would I need to save every month to reach $1 million in 10 years? There's a handy chart in here. It tells you right there. So it's all very inspirational is what it is. And you can work through each chapter, and you can kind of check the box in terms of, how am I doing? Am I aligned in terms of psychological money tricks? That's chapter 4. Am I thinking through things like delayed gratification? Am I thinking through how to manage stress? Am I putting in place, some techniques to sort of care less about what others think about me, like the keeping up with the Joneses thing? Are you focused on your life, your true wealth journey? It's unique to each of us. Social media will make us think it's one cookie cutter thing, and it's not. There's a lot of different ways to have a life of true wealth, and the basic guide and the rules for that are in this book. There's a whole chapter on real estate investments. How do you sort of manage those? There's a whole chapter on what bonds are and how you get into those, and how do you build a diversified portfolio that's going to carry you in your longboat to your true wealth of Valhalla, as I would say. So anyway, that's all in here. It really is the Swiss Army knife toolkit for the middle class to build wealth, and already a pretty good seller there on Amazon. So I really appreciate all the early interest. So thank you very much, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.